Essentially, the difference between X Pro versions and our standard line, a 10 millimeter ride height difference, special off-road tires. By the way, great story on doing this stuff, and any of the OEM reps that are here will know exactly what I'm saying. To get, especially this one on even more on the BF Goodrich, to get approval on the ride quality and sound quality is a real tough bear. They did not want to. I'm seeing some nodding heads. Thank you for that. They did not want to do it, actually, and we said, no, you don't understand. We have a pretty good idea this is going to work, and it has. The X Pro and X Line version of this is tracking about 30% of sales already, steadily growing since it went on sale this time last year, and the X Pro version of the Telluride is about 22%. On Sportage, I think it's really an interesting story because this, of course, is the 7th generation of this vehicle. Many people, when they think about Sportage, they think, oh, this is the one that kind of started all. It's pretty fascinating to think about how far the company's come, and this is a great example of it. So again, the 7th generation, 7 different trims available. The X Line and the X Pro version of this is a 38 millimeter ride height difference. The BF Goodrich tires, special front clip and rear clip, special interior. It captures what we think is kind of an unknown part of the Sportage life, because if you remember, the original Sportage was actually a body on frame, go out and tear it up kind of machine. And so we wanted to recapture some of that, but also do it in a highly technical way. And the turbo hybrid version is doing really, really well for us. Obviously, 47 miles per gallon, so that's a good start. But it has really replaced the V6 version from the previous generation because of the power delivery and just the way it does everything you want it to do.
What's the nomenclature plan between, you have EV6, obviously GT is your performance arm, but then you go to 9, which is there room for a 7, 8 in between?
Yes, we do see for sure an EV2 through EV9, and of course we've EV9 just is introduced, and then in China we introduced the concept EV5, which has not been confirmed to the US market yet. We're still looking it over. So yes, that's the way it's going to work, and it's all going to be built on that eGMP platform. Some of you have heard me tell the story before. Albert Bierman, who was the chief engineer at BMW's M division for many years, Kia poached him just as we're getting serious about doing the engineering on Stinger. And I remember spending time with Albert, of course, many of the Stinger events that we did, but then also as starting the transition to when he was talking about this eGMP platform. But he basically said, James, this platform is going to be great. He goes, this is what I have wanted to have, that I was able to do, I should say, at BMW for many years, to use all this art that I've learned and the right angles and the camera and make this machine really sing without that big, heavy, lumpy, oily thing, and just really start fresh. He's done it. He had his last kind of hurrah, and now we've seen EV6 winning North American Utility of the Year, World Car of the Year. Just EV6 GT just won World Performance Car of the Year. Think about that for a second. A Kia won World Performance Car of the Year. Come on, that's pretty good. I am anxious to learn more about how we're going to do EV9. EV9 will launch at the end of this year, by the way, so we still got a little time, but it'll be here next year. We'll guarantee you that. I've been told that its off-road prowess is already pretty darn good. So does that open up space, for additional trim levels? It's kind of like this. This also replaced the Nightfall edition in our lineup. And so, yes, it's got the additional technical prowess, but for what people are really doing. But I think it's fascinating because now, the proverbial switch has been flipped. This is where it's going now. Well, I also will say with EV9, we're working on maybe some more sporting versions of said machine. Especially since the success of EV6 GT a couple weeks ago. The company really, really was happy about that.
Can you talk a little bit about the difference between the customer of the Telluride versus the customer of the EV9?
We think EV9 customer will first off be less of them because we increased production of this to about 120,000 and they continue to sell out. In fact, Kia, I just saw some numbers the other day. Kia was second only to Toyota when it comes to turn rate, day supply. But if you talk to Toyota dealers, they're a bit struggling because they don't really have the product, whereas we're still able to deliver. And this is where the Kia quick pivot, I think, is been so helpful and important. So from a percentage-wise, it'll be, I can't tell you the number we expect, but it'll be less than this one, obviously. But we think it's going to be a really more savvy customer, and I think it's somebody who's going to be kind of like, to Ben's point, looking for more adventure and getting off the grid a little bit, but not spending $150,000 to do it. I think that's going to weigh, you know, from a brand that you can trust, that you know is going to be around, and has these, you know, these EGMP amazing credentials that now we get to extend it out. In fact, on the high-speed charging on EV6 is 10% state of charge to 80% state of charge in about 15, 16 minutes, something like there. With EV9, that goes out to about 25 minutes because we've increased the density on the battery substantially. And of course, being a bigger machine, more batteries. So we don't have the final range numbers on that yet, but minimum 300.
One final note, if you are in the market for a new vehicle soon, great. Connect with your local dealership and price and test drive at least 3 different vehicles. A vehicle's strengths and weaknesses can only be discovered when you are behind the wheel. My reviews can be good, but you need to test drive these yourself. Visit quotes.everymandriver.com, select the make, model, and your zip code, and you'll get invoice pricing in your area on those vehicles. Shop smarter with price quotes at quotes.everymandriver.com.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.